the confession no one was meant to hear. The elevator doors slid shut with a dull metallic sigh, sealing Evelyn Harper inside a narrow steel box that smelled faintly of disinfectant and overworked machinery. The digital display above flickered from 38 to 37, descending at a pace that felt painfully slow after the longest day of her life. Evelyn leaned her head back against the cool wall, eyes closing as exhaustion crashed over her in heavy waves. Her heels ached, her shoulders throbbed, and her fingers still trembled from hours of silent endurance, being talked over in meetings, corrected publicly for mistakes she didn't make, and treated like she was invisible simply because her job title said junior assistant. She hadn't even noticed that someone else had stepped into the elevator with her. Her phone vibrated in her hand. She glanced down and saw Lena flashing across the screen, her best friend, her only safe place, the one person who knew every quiet fear Evelyn carried behind her polite smile. Without looking up, Evelyn answered and slipped her earbuds in. "Lena, thank God," she whispered, her voice already cracking. "I swear if today had gone on 5 more minutes, I would have cried right at my desk." Lena laughed softly on the other end. "Another brutal day at Titan Global?" "You have no idea," Evelyn muttered. "I worked 14 hours straight. Fixed someone else's mistake, didn't get credit, and then got told I should be more confident when presenting, even though no one let me finish a sentence." She rubbed her eyes, unaware that the man standing silently in the corner had stopped scrolling on his phone. "So," Lena teased gently, "did you finally go on that date?" Evelyn exhaled sharply. "I canceled. Again." Lena groaned. "Evelyn, that's the 4th one this month." "I know," she said quietly. I couldn't." There was a pause. Then Lena's voice softened. "Is it still because of that?" Evelyn swallowed. "Yes." She shifted her weight, staring at the ceiling of the elevator as if it might give her answers. "I'm 26 years old, Lena. Everyone assumes things. They joke. They expect experience, confidence, comfort." Her voice trembled. "And I don't have that. I'm still a virgin, and every time I think about explaining that to someone, I panic." The elevator hummed steadily downward. The man in the corner slowly lifted his head. "I don't want to be rushed," Evelyn continued, her words spilling freely now. "I don't want to feel pressured or judged or small. But men don't want patience anymore. They want instant chemistry, instant intimacy. And I feel broken for needing time." "You are not broken," Lena said firmly. "You're brave. You're honest. And the right man will respect that." Evelyn let out a shaky laugh. "I wish that man existed." She paused, her voice dropping to a whisper. "I've never felt safe enough with anyone." The elevator suddenly jerked violently. The lights flickered once, twice, and then everything went dark. Evelyn screamed and grabbed the railing as the elevator came to a harsh stop between floors. Emergency lights snapped on seconds later, bathing the space in dim amber light. Her heart pounded as reality rushed back. She pulled the earbuds out slowly. And that's when she finally looked at the man standing just a few feet away from her. Her breath left her lungs. He was tall, impeccably dressed, calm in a way that didn't belong in a stalled elevator. And she recognized him instantly. Alexander Crown, the CEO, the billionaire founder of Titan Global. The man whose name made entire boardrooms go silent. The man who had just heard everything. Evelyn's face burned as if the walls themselves were judging her. "Oh no," she whispered. "No, no, no." Alexander met her gaze, not coldly, not amused, but with an expression she couldn't place. Curiosity, understanding, and something else, restraint. "It seems," he said evenly, slipping his phone into his pocket, "we'll be here for a while." Her knees nearly buckled. You heard that," she croaked. "Yes." She covered her face, humiliation crashing over her in waves. "I just confessed my most private fear, in front of my boss." Alexander tilted his head slightly. "You were speaking to someone you trusted," he said calmly. "I happened to be present." "That doesn't make it better," she said, her voice breaking. Silence settled between them, heavy and intimate. Then to her shock he sat down on the elevator floor, expensive suit and all. "You know," he said quietly, "in my world everyone pretends. They say what they think I want to hear. They hide who they are." He looked at her gently. "You didn't." Her hands slowly dropped from her face. "That kind of honesty," he continued, "is rare. And valuable." Evelyn stared at him, stunned. She had expected judgment. Or dismissal. Or consequences. Instead she felt seen. Moments later the elevator lurched back to life. The doors opened. But Evelyn knew, before she even stepped out, that her life had already changed. The day the power shifted. The morning Evelyn Harper walked into Titan Global. She had her shoulders squared and her chin lifted. On the inside, Evelyn Harper was really nervous. Evelyn Harper was trying to be brave. Her nerves were screaming at her. She had not slept. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the elevator with the amber light. She heard her own voice saying something that she had kept her whole life. The elevator and Alexander Crown were always there. She felt Alexander Crown looking at her, his eyes calm and steady, not showing what he was thinking. Alexander Crown listened to her without saying she was wrong. She said to herself that the relationship was over. A freak moment. An awkward coincidence. A secret that would just disappear and be quiet. That illusion was completely gone the second she stepped onto the 32nd floor. The 32nd floor was where everything changed for her. When she walked onto the 32nd floor, the illusion that she had was shattered. The 32nd floor was the place where she saw the truth, and that illusion was gone. The conversations have stopped now. The conversations just stopped. It did not happen in a way. There were no noises or people staring. It was still very noticeable. People leaned in close to each other. They started whispering to one another. These whispers spread from one cubicle to the next quietly. People waited a little long to put down their phones. The whispers about the news were like messages. People were sharing the news with each other in a quiet way. The news was spreading from person to person like a rumor. Evelyn felt something was not right at that moment. Evelyn knew it away. Something was wrong. She got to her desk, turned on her computer. She wanted to think about the day. Her inbox was suddenly full. There were lots of meeting invites and reminders about deadlines. Someone who was really high up, 3 levels above her, even asked her to grab coffee. She had to look at her computer and deal with all these things on her email, like the meeting invites and the deadlines and the coffee request. From that person, her computer was showing her all this as soon as she turned it on. Normal. Almost. She did not know about it until she overheard it. I was talking to someone. They told me something about the elevator that happened last night. The elevator is what they were talking about. So I was wondering if you know anything about what happened to the elevator. Her fingers just stopped moving above the keyboard. She was about to type something on the computer. Now her fingers are not moving at all. The keyboard is still waiting for her to start typing, but her fingers are completely still. No. Apparently she said something very personal. She said it in front of him. A soft, cruel laugh. Being innocent does not mean you will not try to get in life. I think being innocent really has nothing to do with trying to climb the ladder. People who are innocent will still try to climb the ladder because they want to be successful. Climbing the ladder is what being successful is about, so innocent people will try to do that too. Evelyn's stomach felt like it was falling down. Evelyn was really scared. Her stomach was doing flips. This was happening to Evelyn. She did not turn around. She did not react. The woman sat perfectly still as the weight of realization pressed down on her chest. The woman felt this weight. It was very heavy. It was like something was pushing down on her. The woman was still. She did not move. The weight of realization was a strong feeling, and it was pressing down on the woman. The people were aware of this thing. They knew. Not the details, but enough. Something strange had happened to it. Now it was all wrong. The thing that was supposed to be a way had already been twisted. It is really weird how this thing got twisted. By the middle of the morning, the situation got worse. Her boss, Marla Whitcomb, called her into the conference room with the glass walls. Marla Whitcomb was a put-together person who wanted to get ahead. People knew Marla Whitcomb for being nice to your face while making it hard for you at work. Marla told me to sit down. She did not look up at me. Evelyn did what she was told. Marla went on to say that she was worried. She was worried about the way this person makes decisions. Marla continued, folding her hands together. She was talking about this person's judgment. Marla said that she was concerned about the judgment of this person. Evelyn looked a little unhappy. What about my work at the office, my work performance? Marla said no in a voice. She was talking about the person's behavior. Evelyn's throat felt really tight. She said, I do not understand. Marla leaned back. She said, I found out that you did something with Mr. Crown. Evelyn's heart was beating fast. She said, that is not what I was thinking, and then she stopped talking. Evelyn's heart was still pounding in her chest. Let me finish, Marla said in a tone. Titan Global thinks being professional is very important. When people share things, especially things that are private, others can get the wrong idea. To be honest, I am really disappointed in the way things are going at Titan Global. Titan Global expects more from everyone. Disappointed. It seems like Evelyn did something that she should be really ashamed of. Evelyn did something that makes people look at her in a way. People are acting like Evelyn has done something wrong. Evelyn said this in a voice. She did not know that he was there. The elevator stopped working. At that time Evelyn was talking to a friend on the phone. Marla's lips curved in a smile. She said, "Intent does not erase the way people see things." The words sliced deep. Marla went on to say that it would be an idea for you to keep a pretty low profile for a bit. You should focus on the things you need to do. Try not to be in the spotlight unless you have to be. Just keep doing your tasks and avoid being seen much. Translation: disappear. Evelyn walked out of the room. She felt really bad about herself. She felt smaller than she had in a long time. This feeling was not good for Evelyn. Evelyn was feeling down on herself. By the time it was lunch, the office was really buzzing. People were talking about her name over the hallways. Everyone was looking at her. When she walked by, someone actually laughed at her. The woman sat by herself in the break room. She had a sandwich in front of her. She did not touch the sandwich. The woman just stared at the sandwich. She was thinking about this for the time since what happened in the elevator. She wondered if it would have been better for her to just stay quiet. The elevator incident was still on her mind. She thought that maybe silence would have been safer for her. Then at 1:17 p.m. something big happened and everything changed. A message popped up on all the screens inside the building. This was a notification that everyone could see. It was on every internal screen in the building. The notification flashed across all of them at the time. All meetings canceled, effective immediately. People let out breaths and it spread across the room. Gasps were over the floor. The phones rang. People were standing there. People just stood around. The people stood. Evelyn blinked. She looked really confused. Evelyn did not understand what was happening to her. Evelyn was totally lost. Another message came in a few seconds later. Mandatory executive assembly, main boardroom. The energy in the room changed from people talking about each other to people feeling really scared. The energy shifted from gossip to panic. It was like the energy in the room was focused on rumors and now the energy is focused on fear. Marla rushed out of her office. Her face was really pale. Everyone needs to come. Evelyn was swept along with the crowd. She felt her heart beating fast as they all walked into the huge boardroom. The front rows were filled with executives from the company. The managers were whispering to each other in a way. The doors finally opened. I was waiting for this moment. The doors. Everything changed. The doors. I saw what was inside. Alexander Crown came into the room. He walked in. Alexander Crown was now inside. The room became really quiet. It was like nobody was making a sound. The room was silent. The man did not smile. The man did not waste any time. He said that he has canceled his schedule for the day. Something more important is going on, and that is why the Facebook guy has canceled the schedule of the Facebook guy for the day. The Facebook guy has something on his mind. That thing is more important than anything else the Facebook guy was going to do today. Her eyes darted around the room. The eyes darted quickly from one thing to another. The eyes just kept darting forth. Evelyn's breath caught. Alexander looked around the room. He saw the executives. He saw the managers. Then Alexander's gaze stopped when it got to her. Alexander was looking at her. And stayed there. This company is really proud of being honest, he went on. They care about respect. The thing that matters to this company is how good you are at what you do. Not who you know, not where you come from, not what people think about you. This company believes that your talent is what is important. The man's voice became really hard. In the 24 hours I have seen things that go against everything that our company says it stands for. The behavior I have seen does not match the values of our company. Our company claims to have values, but the behavior I have seen in the last 24 hours does not support this. The values of our company are not being upheld by the behavior I have seen. A murmur swept the room. It was a noise that everyone heard. People started to talk about what was going on. The murmur in the room got a little louder. The murmur was all about something that had just happened. Alexander turned his body a little to the side. Ms. Harper. Evelyn's knees were shaking badly. Evelyn's knees would not stop trembling. She said quietly, "Yes. Please come forward." The walk felt like it was going on forever. I was doing the walk. It felt endless. The walk was really long. It felt endless. Every step I took echoed. The sound of my footsteps echoed. Every single step echoed. She stopped beside him. Her hands were shaking badly. Alexander said that the person was not wrong. He spoke in a voice, but it was very clear that he meant what he said. The person did not do anything Alexander told them. And the person was definitely professional, Alexander said about the person. What they did. Marla became really stiff all of a sudden. The man went on to say what happened in that elevator was not a problem. He said that what took place in the elevator was not something that would cause trouble for the elevator or the people in it. The thing that happened in that elevator was not a liability. The man turned to the room. He looked at the room. The room was what he was looking at now. The man was in the room. He turned to it. It was honesty. It was really quiet. The silence was deafening. There was no sound at all, and that made the silence feel even more quiet. The silence was deafening. The person who makes fun of someone's honesty or tries to guess what is going on or play games with it, he said, is the one who has failed, not the person who was honest. He turned around. Look back at Evelyn. People think you are not as good as you really are. You have been underestimated. This means that people do not think you can do things well as you actually can. Your abilities have been underestimated. Her eyes really burned. The burning feeling in her eyes was very bad. Her eyes burned much that it was hard for her to see. The burning sensation in her eyes was terrible. Her eyes burned. People have spoken over you, they have dismissed what you have to say. They have reduced the things you do to just rumors. This has happened to you. It is not a good feeling when people do not take you seriously, when they do not listen to what you have to say, and when they spread rumors about you, about the things you do and about the things you say. The man's jaw got really tight. His jaw tightened up like that when he was angry or upset. His jaw was tight. It looked like he was clenching his teeth. The man's jaw was really tight. That ends today. He turned to Marla. He looked at Marla. The man turned to face Marla. Ms. Whitcomb. Marla swallowed hard. Yes, Mr. Crown? You do not have to do your duties anymore. This change is effective immediately, and it will stay this way until the investigation is over. The investigation is about your duties. A collective gasp. Before anyone asks, Alexander said, yes, the human resources people have already been told. Marla's face just went completely white. Alexander turned to face the room again. He looked at the room. Alexander was standing in the room facing it. He said, let me be clear. Anyone who thinks that being kind is a thing, or that being open and honest is something that can be taken advantage of, should not be a leader here. Leadership is about kindness and being open. The people in leadership positions need to understand that kindness is important and being vulnerable is not a bad thing. Kindness is what we need in our leaders. He looked at Evelyn one time. He really looked at Evelyn. Then he looked away. Evelyn was someone he would remember. He thought about Evelyn and what she meant to him. The image of Evelyn stayed with him as he walked away from Evelyn. I really want to say thank you to Ms. Harper. She reminded our company what it means to be real. Ms. Harper showed us what authenticity looks like, and that is really great. Thank you, Ms. Harper. Evelyn just stood there. She did not move, as the room became completely quiet with everyone in the room being very surprised and shocked. The room was filled with silence. Evelyn was still frozen in place. For the time in her life, she was not shrinking away from things. She was not getting smaller and quieter like the girl she usually was. The girl she usually was not standing up for herself. This time the girl was standing tall, and the girl was not shrinking. She was standing in the light. The truth they never expected is something that will really surprise people. The truth they never expected is going to be a deal. People are going to be talking about the truth they never expected for a time. The truth they never expected is very shocking. When Evelyn Harper got back to her desk, the building did not feel like the building Evelyn Harper was used to. Evelyn Harper thought the building had changed a lot. The building where Evelyn Harper worked was different now. It was not admiration or sudden applause. It was more subtle than that. Respect was what people were showing. This respect was taking the place of judgment that people had only a few hours before. Conversations would stop when the woman passed by, not so people could whisper to each other, so they could make space for her. People would stand up without even realizing it. A few people would nod their heads. One woman said sorry to the woman without speaking the words. Evelyn did not know how to deal with the situation. Evelyn was really confused about what was happening with Evelyn. The whole thing was a lot for Evelyn to handle. She sat down slow. Her hands were still shaking. She could not stop thinking about what Alexander Crown said to her. Alexander Crown's words were stuck in her head. She kept thinking about Alexander Crown and what he told her. People do not think you are as good as you really are. The people around you have underestimated you. They do not know how good the person they are dealing with is. That is you. You have been underestimated. She had basically gone along with this for most of her life. The quiet girl was what people saw her as. She was the assistant, the one who did a lot of work but did not say much. It was just easier for her to blend into the background of trying to change what people thought of her. The quiet girl did not want to deal with all the things people expected from her. Now the thing that made them invisible is gone. Invisibility is not a thing for them anymore. They can be seen now. The invisibility that they had is really gone. Her inbox made a sound to let her know she had a new message. The inbox chimed. It was a noise that meant the inbox had something new for her. Then again. And again. Messages poured in. They were all different. There were requests, acknowledgments, and apologies. A senior analyst asked if she could look over a report that the senior analyst needed to finish. The other department got in touch with her because they wanted her thoughts on a project that was not going anywhere. Then someone from the department asked if she was free to talk to them for a little while about something. Consultation? She looked at the screen. She was really surprised. The screen was in front of her and she just could not believe what she was seeing on the screen. At 3:42 in the afternoon I saw that someone had sent a meeting request. From Alexander Crown. Subject: please come to my office. Her heart skipped a beat. It really hurt. Her heart was beating funny. It felt like her heart was going to stop. Her heart just skipped painfully. The office of the CEO was on the top floor. It had glass walls. You could see the city from there. This was a space that Evelyn had only seen in videos about companies. When Evelyn got out of the elevator, the office of the CEO was there. Her hands were sweaty. She was standing in front of the office of the CEO. She could see how nice it was. The view of the city from the office of the CEO was really something. Evelyn felt a little nervous. Alexander was standing by the window when she came in. He was not wearing his jacket and his sleeves were rolled up. The door. Then he turned around. The man said, "Thank you for coming." Evelyn nodded. She said, "Course." The billionaire did not seem intimidating. He just looked like a man who was thinking deeply about something. The billionaire appeared to be a person now not scary at all. The man said that he owes the person an apology. He told them that he is really sorry for what he did. The man owes the person an apology. Her eyes got really big. "Sir?" He went on to say, "For what you experienced today." He also meant for what you experienced in this place for a really long time, much longer than just today. Evelyn hesitated. She said, "You did not cause Evelyn to feel this way. It was not your fault. Evelyn is sure of that." No, Then he agreed. "The system was really good for me. It let me do what I wanted. I got something out of it. The system allowed it to happen. That was good for me." The man made a movement with his hand for the woman to take a seat. He told me that he did some research the night before. This was after what happened with the elevator. Her stomach felt funny. It was moving around a lot. He said that you finished first in your class when you studied data systems. You also created 2 models to make things work better. People are still talking about them in school journals. Evelyn's breath caught. "I made a workflow algorithm when I was an intern. It helped the company in one region save almost $4 million. The workflow algorithm I designed was really good for this company. It saved them a lot of money, $4 million. The company was very happy with the workflow algorithm I made." Her lips parted a bit. Alexander said, "Yet," and his voice got a little stronger. He told this person, "You have been doing things like filing reports and managing calendars for 3 years now." The reports and the calendars. Alexander was talking about the reports and the calendars. The room was completely silent. There was not a sound to be heard. The silence in the room was really something. The room was filled with silence. Evelyn said this in a quiet voice. She told me that some people told her she was not ready. They said Evelyn did not have confidence in herself. They also said that Evelyn needed to understand how things worked before Evelyn could get a position. Alexander's jaw got really tight. The man said that confidence is really about being like other people. He said it slowly. Confidence is when you sound like everyone in the room. It is about being familiar. The man thinks that people often use the word confidence to mean that they sound like people. The man leaned forward. "Miss Harper, Evelyn, you are definitely not underqualified. The thing is, you have been held back, contained." Something inside her cracked. Not pain. Relief. "Alexander said to me that I should be in charge of a project. He wants me to start the project away. Alexander told me that I have to begin the project." She blinked. "What do you mean by lead?" "This is a problem," he said. "Our international logistics platform is losing a lot of money. The team that is supposed to fix our international logistics platform has failed 2 times already with our international logistics platform." Her pulse was racing fast. She could feel her heart beating quickly. Her pulse was racing. "He told me that he read my thesis. He said I already found a solution to this problem. I did it 3 years ago." Her voice shook. She said, "No one ever asked me that before." He said, "I am asking now in a way." The weight of the moment felt really heavy on her chest. The moment was a lot to handle. It was pressing down on her. It was like the moment was sitting on her chest. The moment was making it hard for her to breathe. The weight of the moment was a deal for her. The woman said that she is scared. She actually admitted it. The woman admitted that fear is what she is feeling. Alexander. It was not one of those smiles that makes you feel like you are being talked down to or that your thoughts are being completely ignored. Alexander. It was a genuine smile from Alexander. I felt the way when I was in your position. So was I the time I stood where you are. She nodded her head slowly. I will do it. The room felt like it was breathing out. The room was really quiet and still. Then the room seemed to let out a sigh. It was very weird. The room was empty. The room was not making any noise, but the room still felt like it was exhaling. News traveled fast. The word spread quickly. People found out about it in no time. The word spread quickly. Soon everyone knew. Evelyn Harper wasn't just the girl from the elevator anymore. She was the project lead. The managers who used to interrupt her all the time now waited for her to finish what she was saying. The executives who never bothered to reply to her emails before were now getting back to her quickly, sometimes in just a few minutes. But not everyone was pleased. People were really upset in places, and this anger was building up. The woman does not deserve it. She really does not deserve it. The woman is not worthy of it. She really got lucky. This thing just fell into place for her. The woman got lucky. She acted like the victim. The time it was like she was playing the victim card to get people on her side. The victim card is something people use when they want others to feel sorry for them. That is exactly what she did. Evelyn heard everything that was said. She just kept on going. She worked late at night. She got little sleep. She put all of her energy into the project with a quiet desire to do it well. The project was very important to her. She did not talk loudly to get people to listen to her. She led the project with ideas and a clear plan. The project was her focus, and she worked on it with quiet determination. Something amazing. It happened in just 10 days, which is a really short amount of time. The impossible thing that people thought would never happen actually happened within those 10 days. The system is now stable. It is working properly. The system is not having any problems anymore. The system. That is a good thing. The costs have really dropped now. This is news for the costs. The costs are lower than before. The efficiency really went up. The board definitely took notice of that. The board saw what was going on. They are aware of it now. The board is paying attention. At the executive review, Alexander did not present the results of the project. The executive review was the time when Alexander was supposed to present the results. He did not do that. Alexander was the one who was in charge of presenting the results at the review. The man gave the floor to Evelyn. He let Evelyn take over. Evelyn was now in charge of the conversation. The man handed the floor to Evelyn so she could say what was on her mind. She stood there. She was steady. She was composed. She was unapologetic. The woman stood there. She was the picture of calmness. This woman was steady. This woman was composed. This woman was unapologetic. This is what happens, she said calmly, when people are allowed to contribute beyond their titles. Then there was silence. Then applause. Not polite. After the meeting was over, the executives started to leave. Then one of the women who had made fun of her at the gala weeks before came up to her. The woman said, "I was wrong about you," in a voice. Evelyn looked back at her with the amount of intensity, her eyes meeting hers in a steady stare. She said, "Yes. You really did that." No anger. No triumph. Just truth. That evening, as the sun went down below the skyline, Evelyn was standing by herself in the office. The city lights were coming on one by one, making everything feel alive. Alexander joined her quietly. He did not make a sound when Alexander joined her. It was like Alexander was not there when Alexander joined her. He told me that I did not just show them they were wrong. I actually changed the room. The woman smiled softly. I just stopped hiding. Respect is the loudest justice. The applause from the boardroom still echoed in Evelyn Harper's ears long after the meeting ended. Not because it was loud, but because it was real. For the first time in her life, people hadn't clapped out of politeness or obligation. They clapped because they had seen her mind at work. Because her ideas had solved a problem no one else could. Because she had stood in front of power without trying to imitate it, and power had listened. That night she rode the elevator alone. The same one. The same soft hum. The same slow descent. Only this time she wasn't shrinking against the wall or bracing herself for judgment. She stood tall, her reflection in the mirrored doors looking unfamiliar and strong. The next weeks reshaped everything. The investigation into Marla Whitcomb didn't quietly disappear. HR uncovered years of complaints, subtle intimidation, favoritism, silencing junior staff under the excuse of maintaining standards. What had once been dismissed as personality conflicts suddenly formed a pattern too obvious to ignore. Marla was officially terminated. So were two other managers who had encouraged the culture of humiliation. The announcement went company-wide. And it sent a message louder than any speech ever could. Titan Global didn't just say it valued respect. It proved it. Evelyn was promoted, formally this time. Her title changed. Her pay doubled. Her authority became official. But the most profound shift wasn't external. It was internal. She no longer apologized before speaking. She no longer softened her ideas to make them easier to dismiss. She no longer mistook kindness for weakness. One afternoon, a junior intern hesitated outside her office door. "Miss Harper." The girl whispered. Evelyn looked up and smiled. "Come in." The intern clutched her notebook tightly. "I just wanted to say, thank you. For what you said in the meeting. About titles." Evelyn's expression softened. "You don't need permission to matter," she said gently. "Remember that." The girl nodded, eyes shining. That moment stayed with Evelyn longer than any applause. Her relationship with Alexander evolved too, but carefully, respectfully. There were no grand gestures, no power imbalance disguised as romance. Just conversations, boundaries, trust. One evening, weeks later, they sat across from each other at a quiet restaurant far from glass towers and expectations. Alexander said to me, "I want you to know that what you choose to do, whether it is something personal or something, for your job, will always be your own decision. What you choose next will always be yours no matter what it is. You get to decide what you want to do with your life, and what you choose to do will always be yours to own." Evelyn smiled. She had a nice smile on her face. Evelyn was happy. That is why Evelyn was smiling. That is all I ever needed. She figured out that what she said in the elevator was not something that made her look bad. The elevator confession had actually been a thing, not a weakness that people found out about. She thought about the elevator confession. How it had really been something that showed her courage, not a weakness that she had to hide. The elevator confession was something that she was proud of. It was not a weakness that she was worried about. Something was finally out in the open. It was a truth that had been released. The truth is that when you say something, it can really change things. The truth has a lot of power. It can make people see the world in a different way. Once the truth is out, it can make a difference and rearrange the world. The truth can be very strong. It can make people think about things in a new way. Months later, Titan Global started something inside the company. They called it the Harper Protocol. This is a way for people to get help and move up in the company. The Harper Protocol is supposed to find people who are really good at their jobs, but maybe nobody noticed them before. It does not matter where these people come from or how they act. Titan Global wants to make sure everyone has a chance to succeed, know what they are like or how they talk to others. Evelyn did not ask for the thing to be named Evelyn. She never said that she wanted it to be called Evelyn. The thing was named Evelyn. Evelyn did not ask for that to happen. The woman said yes to it. She agreed to the thing that was offered to her. The woman accepted it. Because sometimes visibility isn't about ego. Leaving a door open behind you is a big deal. The thing about leaving a door behind you is that it can let everything escape. When you leave a door open behind you, it is like you are giving up on what you had. Leaving a door open behind you is something that can be hard to do. You have to think about what leaving a door open behind you means. Leaving a door behind you is not just about the door, it is about what is behind it. On the anniversary of that night, Evelyn stopped in the lobby when the elevator doors opened. She just stood there for a moment, remembering that night. The elevator doors were open. Evelyn did not get in. She was thinking about what happened on that night. It was all coming back to her. Evelyn was standing in the lobby. The elevator was waiting for her, but she was not moving. The anniversary of that night was really making her think about everything that happened. Evelyn was in the lobby. She was not going anywhere, at least not yet. She smiled to herself for a moment. She had stepped into that elevator one time thinking that being honest was going to be the thing that would mess everything up for her. She thought that her honesty would be the problem, that it would ruin her life. Instead, it had revealed her.